And so I'm going to talk to you today about our advising handbook that we prepared for you as faculty advisors. And then all of you should have on your table, it's a reference guide where we pulled out sections of that handbook so that you could have those for easy reference on your desk when you're advising your students. So I'm going to talk about that, but my name is Jeana Partin, and I'm the Dean of Student Success, and we're located on the second floor of the library, and I have a fantastic team. This is my 9th month of being here at Carson-Newman, and I'm just very privileged to be here and to share this resource with you today, and hopefully it's helpful for you. So why are we here today? Well, we're here to assist you, this is our Student Success Center, in helping our students reach their full potential as educated citizens and worldwide servant leaders. I wanted to share a story with you, and Dr. Husung, he knows my daughter very well. This is a picture of her. So Carson-Newman is very special to my family because that's my daughter on the left side with her husband. It's her name. My daughter's name is Jeana Partin, and her husband's name is Frankie Heilmeyer, and she's now Krista Heilmeyer. But they both graduated from Carson-Newman in 2018, and so I called out Dr. Ryan Fogg yesterday. He was in here, and he was Krista's advisor and her piano professor for like 9 years, a long time, right, Dr. Husung? A long time, but she had a wonderful experience here at Carson-Newman. And then Frankie Heilmeyer, I got to give a shout out to Christine Dalton yesterday because she was Frankie's advisor, and he still talks to her all the time, and she gives references for him, or has for different jobs and things like that. But what I wanted to say is that they were best friends in college. They were not dating each other. They were best friends and hung out with a great group of other friends. But then a couple of years after college, they started dating, and then they got married, and they're doing very well in successful careers, and have bought a house and all of those things. And I just wanted to say that I'm just so thankful for all of you and all that you do for our students, because my family is a wonderful example of what you do for our students here at Carson-Newman. And so I love this scripture verse. It's Ephesians 2:10. It says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do, and you are doing good works," for our students here at Carson-Newman. So I wanted to share my personal story and say thank you. And she's now, my daughter Krista is now in the MBA program here at Carson-Newman, and she's enjoying that, I think. I know it's a lot of hard work, Dr. Bailey. So I also wanted just to talk to you about the relationship that we at Student Success have with you as academic advisors and our students. And I found this verse in Ecclesiastes 4:12. It says, "Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves, and a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken." And I think about that when I think about the relationship that we have in Student Success with you as their academic advisors and the faculty with our students, and just that relationship and how strong it is that we have that cord of us supporting our students, and so they don't have to feel alone. And so we're there to support you, and you are there to support them, and then we're there to support them also. So I wanted to share that with you and just let you know that we want to be here to help you and support you. So that brings me to my shameless plug for our Student Success Center on the second floor of the library, and just wanted to remind you of the resources that we offer there. Our academic resources and coaching, our career development services. We also provide different demographic support services like first-generation students, our athletes. And so I wanted to share those things with you. We also have a very robust peer tutoring service with lots of peer tutors that mainly tutor those subjects that are in the liberal arts core. And so if you have students that are struggling with some of those key subjects, core subjects, we have those peer tutors for your students, and we're open for peer tutoring after 4 o'clock in the evenings, Monday through Thursday. And then we are also the only department on campus where students can change their majors or add a minor. And I did want to introduce Mark Workman. He's sitting back there in the corner. He's our Assistant Director of Student Success and then also our Director of Career Services. And Mark provides career coaching for students, in-person coaching, and then we also have career-specific courses that your students can take to help them understand about the pursuit of their career and what that means for them. I also want to mention, Lisa had brought up that our ACE system for coaches. We do have an early alert referral system. A lot of you use it very faithfully, and we're very thankful for that, and I know our students are too. But that is for all of our Carson-Newman employees, and we really want you to take advantage of that system because as soon as you send us an alert, we assign that alert to the appropriate advisor or coach, and then they reach out to that student immediately to bring them in for us to offer them support. So please use that alert system. We had also been looking at another alert system. It was called Civitas, and actually our College of Professional Studies, they use that alert system, but we are going to continue using ACE right now on our traditional campus. So I wanted just to let you know about that because I know there's been some conversation about us switching to a new alert system in the traditional campus, but right now we're going to continue to use ACE. So I did want to let you know that. I also want to give you an update on a new initiative that we have going on in student success. We have a new student character strengths coaching initiative. We just received a grant this year, a $50,000 grant from Wake Forest, who is sponsored by the Lilly Foundation. We have a partnership with them, with their Educating Character initiative, and other universities across the country that are doing this. And so our goal is this year, we are building out capacity for this initiative, and we're in the fall for our first year students coming in during orientation, they will be taking some strengths assessments, and that will be the Clifton Strengths Assessment, and then also the Values in Action character assessments. You will have access to their top 5 strengths when you are advising them. That will give you another way to get to know your students and to connect with them. And then we will also be providing some training for you as advisors in terms of understanding their reports and things like that. But we feel like that's going to be a good way for us to be able to connect with the students, and then also providing that way of you connecting with the students and getting to know them. So communication is key with our students and with you. And so, like I said, we have printed out a reference guide of just the highlights, some of the highlights that we thought were important from our advising handbook. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to give you an overview of our complete handbook, and then Suzanne has already talked about the NCAA, but I'm going to specifically talk to you about some other special populations like ROTC and the honors students. So in the reference guide, if you want to pick that up, because I'm going to be talking about it for the next maybe just a couple of minutes. So if you'll open it up, and in that first page, you'll just see some general tips, guidelines for advising, and just want to let you know that we have compiled these. Lisa Connor, I want to give a shout out to you because Lisa and Mark were on an advising committee for a few years, am I right? And so they have a lot of experience in advising and talking to other faculty members about what is important about advising. And I just want you to know that these tips have been thought over, have been discussed, and we have really tried to give you some tips that we think are going to be helpful for you as you start your advising process. And if you'll skip over on that the page that's right next to those general advising tips, you see that checklist. I'm going to skip that for just a couple of minutes. Go over to the third page. We have the roles and responsibilities of the advisor. We have the roles and responsibilities of the advisee. We feel like that's important for you to know your role. And some of you have been doing this for a long time, so you can teach us a lot of things. But I think this is a great tool also for you that are mentoring other advisors, that you can have this resource that's ready for them, that you can just show them, say, here's the role that we play. Here's the roles that the student play in terms of the advisee. And then if you flip over to the next page, we also have a section of just the limitations in advising. And so what are our limitations as an advisor? And I do want to say this because I was thinking about this while I was sitting back there listening to Suzanne, and just all the work that has gone into the reference guide and into the manual, that this is a years of work and discussion and resources that we put into these. And so as you're using these tools, if you have any suggestions, please reach out to our office and let us know, or maybe you see something that we need to correct. We are here for you. We want this resource and this manual to be very helpful to you. So just let us know if you see anything that you feel like would be helpful for you and for our campus in general as far as our faculty advisors. And then next, if you'll go just to that second page, we have provided you an advising checklist. And so there's 3 groups of students. There's the new students that are coming in, the transfer students, and then the current students. And we have provided some steps for you to consider for pre-advising, during advising, and then the things that you would want to consider after advising. And I do want to make just a couple of comments to think about during of course you need to go to MyCN and those kinds of things. And you're going to need to use your curriculum maps before your specific departments. We don't have any of that information. This is all general information, so you're going to refer to your department head and your deans of your department for specific information. This is general advising steps, but I do want to just point out for those first-year students to think about when you're advising some of the first-year students that even if they've had some of these dual enrollment courses like English 101 and the freshman and sophomore level of English, that one of the things that we've been hearing from our English faculty and also from our students, just our experience in student success, that sometimes the first year students or the freshman students are not quite ready for those 301 level English courses in that freshman year, and this has been some of the feedback we're receiving from the English professor. So I would just encourage you to talk to that student before signing them up in, say, a 300 level course as far as a new freshman student, to really talk to them about whether or not they're ready for that level of material. So I just wanted to make that suggestion because that has been something that has come to us and very frequently in terms of some of the professors and also the students. And the other thing I wanted to mention to you, Suzanne talked about the notes section of MyCN, and some of you use that faithfully, but we just want to suggest that you take advantage of the notes section as much as possible. A simple note would be great. Realize that the coaches are looking at that. We are looking at that. The students can see those notes. And that would be helpful if you could just talk about the session, maybe make notes of specific things that they need to remember, and that would be helpful when the coaches are looking at their profile. And so if you could just make special note of that, I would appreciate that. So academic advisors are key to students' academic progression, their personal and professional development, connection to student support services, and mentoring to graduation. So you have a huge role to play for our students. And like I said at the beginning, y'all are doing such a wonderful job in making an amazing impact on our students and influencing them greatly. And then I also wanted to mention that great academic advisors are approachable, friendly, accessible, knowledgeable, and helpful. And I have this slide on here because Mark Workman and Rodney Russell are going to be doing a lunch and learn a little bit later, I think in a couple of weeks, right, Mark? About relationships of advisors and students. And so I think that's really important because we want to emphasize the importance of just having that connection with our students. And that's, like Suzanne said earlier, that's important for them in terms of their confidence. And then also for us as a university as far as retaining them. If they feel connected to you and looking up to you and helping them, then they're going to feel better prepared and supported as they continue their journey here at Carson-Newman. So this is a quote from Nancy King at Kennesaw State University, and she says, "We are interpreters who help students navigate their new world. As such, we have to make connections." And I did want to say that our student success coaches, we are all members of the National Association of Academic Advisors, and we're also certified coaches. So I want to segue now to our advising handbook. And this is updated comprehensive information for you. We have basically compiled into one handbook, and some of you have seen this. If you've been here for a while, we actually had this in printed form, so the cover of it's going to look very familiar to you. I think the last time it was updated was back in 2022. Am I right, Mark? But we have, over the last several months, in coordination with several of the departments, we've sent out different pieces of the handbook to make sure that it's correct. And so we're providing an updated handbook, and then we are also providing a new place. You have your own advising resources page now, and so it has several forms on there, and then it also has the link to the advising manual, as you can see. And so I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. So the advising handbook, within the handbook itself, there are some quick links within the handbook that I think you're going to find very helpful. So instead of having to try to find where things are, or even if you look in the table of contents in our printed book where you had to flip to the page, in this particular online version, you can just click, and it will take you directly to the section that you want to look at. So I did want to make note of that so that you could see that. So I think that that's very helpful. And then also, the other thing that we have done for you is we have made direct links within this manual directly to the catalog for the section in the catalog. Let me go to the next one and see if that one's... So as you can see, it takes you to the section in the catalog. So you don't have to go. We have a lot of the information within the advising manual itself, but then there's also information in the catalog, maybe that's in a little more detail that you want to go and research. And so we provided those direct links to the catalog for you, so you can have that access. And then the other thing is that Jessica Swinney, our registrar, we have a whole section within our advising manual on the graduation application, on the program evaluation of the students, on their progress report, and her specific requirements and guidelines and links to forms and those types of things. All of that is within this manual. Jessica has provided us a detailed section that is not in the catalog. And that's just for you, that she's done that for you. So I wanted to let you know that is within the advising handbook. We also, at the very end of the manual, we have your printable forms in the appendix. And like I said, you can just jump right there in the handbook. And then we also have within the handbook the specific requirements for, and I'm not sure if I can go there. I have so many pages open now. So we have specific requirements, like for the Bonner Scholars and the ROTC, so that we made that easily accessible for you. And I do want to say that we have information in here that's not in the catalog, because we have gone to the individual departments and we've asked them, like for example, Bonner Scholar, she said these courses are not in the catalog right now. This information is not there. So this is new information for you. And so we provided you with that information. It's here in this advising manual. And so we have Bonner's information, we have the honors information, we have ROTC, we even have that information, the highlights of the information that Suzanne Strodwick provided about the NCAA. So we also have that information in there for you. So there's lots of information in this advising manual that we've tried to pull out those things that we thought would be useful for you based on our years of experience. So I just want to go back and let me make sure I'm in the right spot here. So we talked about the special populations and then also the ASE. I didn't mention that, and our international students. So I wanted to close with this quote from Maya Angelou, who's a famous poet. She says, "People will forget what you say. They will even forget what you do, but they never forget how you made them feel." And so I want us to remember that. And I remind myself when I'm talking to students and I have a student come into my office and I'm busy working on a project or writing an email or something and they really need my help, and to stop what I'm doing and to look them in the eye and to connect with them so that they can feel like we care and like I care. So I just thank you today for coming to this presentation, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Mine's not quite as detailed in terms of specific things that you need to know, but if you do have any questions, I'm here afterwards. Feel free to come up and ask me. Thank you.